Most couples don't disagree about which real estate, which property to buy. I'm of the view that they disagree about risk. One partner is thinking, what if this goes wrong? And the other one is thinking, what if we do nothing? Or if what if we fall behind? Or what if something else happens? And I want to say that it's the same goal, just different fears. Risk is about fear, right? And if couples don't learn how to talk about the risk, the risk of the property, the risk of the business, the risk of what they're trying to do, property or real estate becomes a pressure point instead of a pathway. Let me say something upfront. I'm going to say something upfront. I am of the view that risk is not the enemy. Unspoken risk is. Every investment, I'm going to say that every investment, every investment, my good friends, it carries some form of a risk. Even doing nothing, by the way, it's also it's got its own risk. So the goal for couples is not to avoid risk, but is to understand the risk together. If we are meeting for the first time, my name is TJ, your host, and I'm a former banker and founder here at the TJ Tribe. And I do business with a focus in student accommodation, flips, which is buy and sell, and coaching, with the hope that all of us, as young, upcoming modern parents, we can be able to have passive income from real estate. Welcome to the channel. So most couples mix up two very different things that I want to clarify today, or should I say two different risks. And the first one is the financial risk. And they think, what if the bond payments, what if the rates, what if the vacancy, what if the maintenance? This is the risk that people normally talk about openly. You know, they're like, can we afford this? What about if this happens, right? But there's another risk that I want to speak about, which is the relational risk. Whew, this relational risk can be dangerous. It is the stress, the sleepless nights, the blame when things go wrong, the I told you so moments, you were not listening when I said. And my good friends, this is the risk couples don't talk about oftenly. But it is the one that does make the most damage in many relationships, in my view. So wise couples, my friends, they tend to plan for both, right? In their talking, in their thinking. And my good friends, today I am going to help you on how you can think differently in doing these things. So here's some important things to understand. Couples don't feel risk equally. And that's normal. That's very, very normal. Often what happens is that the one partner values security. So are we okay? What if things happen again? Would we be okay? And what if will we be okay? Will we be okay? So there's security value. And the other person is they value more progress, right? Can we do it? How fast can we do it? Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go. I was the let's go person at one point. And sometimes in the let's go, we expose other things. And I then want to put a disclaimer to say neither is wrong. But when one partner pushes without reassurance, I've learned how to do that. How do you reassure? Well, this is where we are. This is what's happening in the business. This is why we're taking this risk. Okay? So when you're now taking the reassurance, the other blocks tends to actually to move, or should I say, the other person starts to understand, so that they can now walk with you. And risks turns into resistance in many aspects because it's not being managed. So the goal is not agreement on everything, because you might never able to agree on anything because you're seeing things differently. The goal is what I call a shared confidence, right? Where's the security? Okay, that's how we're going to do it, right? Or progress, that's how we're going to do it. And together, now you come together as a couple and you're like, okay, shared confidence, I see it. Now I'm going to share with you share. I'm going to share with you what strong couples ask, or should I say, I'm of the view that couples who are stronger, they ask better questions, and the questions that they would ask themselves is something along these lines. I'll give you four of those questions, right? And you can take these questions and you can apply it into your own relationship and your own scenarios as and when you're doing business. What's the worst case scenario, right? That's the first question that you should be asking. Always plan from the worst case scenario. So, what's the worst case scenario? And can we survive in the worst case scenario? That's question number one. Question number two, what buffers do we have? Do we have at all? The other day, I was telling my wife we only have 60,000 to ourselves as our buffer for the entire family. And if anything happens between now and then, yeah, we're swimming in poop. Right. That's all we had. It's a season. I tell people money is like a guest. Sometimes you have more guests than others. Sometimes you have no guests at all, no money. So what buffers do we have? The next question you want to ask yourself and your spouse is, who are we learning? I'm going to say this one differently. Who are we leaning on for advice? And who are we learning from for growth? So it's kind of like one question, but it's like entangled. Because sometimes the learning and the leaning could be one person, and sometimes you might need to split the two, right? Does it make sense? Right. And what is the real estate or what is the property in question that we're wanting to buy, invest in? What is it teaching us? Here's a couple. Hey, my friends, I apologize that I had to break this conversation, hot conversation that we're talking about. But I thought, let me come through and let's talk about student accommodation. If you're in the student accommodation space and you are investing in that or thinking of investing that, and you are thinking, how am I going to manage this? Is it possible actually to just do it and I can just see my portfolio grow? My good friends, I want to bring you a company that is called My Student House. My Student House has been around for a while. They are currently managing over 2,000 beds across the country, particularly in the areas of Bloemfontein, Cape Town, Port Elizabeth, Potchefstroom, and also in Gauteng. So if you're in the student accommodation space, or you're thinking of going into student accommodation space and you're not so sure who's going to be able to manage you, the company My Student House, they will be able to manage this for you, and you can then be able to invest without any hassles of managing. So they will do the placement for you. In some cases, they can even do the project for you. Maybe there's a bit of renovation that is needed on the property, and above that, they will manage the whole property and report to you frequently so that you know what is happening on your property. So how do you get a hold of them? This is the email address that you can drop into, and we will be in touch here at the TJ Tribe and helping you on your journey of student accommodation with My Student House. Property should stretch you. But I'm of the view that it's never to tear you apart. Now, here is a simple TJ filter for couples that you can potentially use before saying yes to any deal that will come through. Ask the question, number one, can we afford it on one income if needed? Right? And the reason why I'm saying that is because life changes. The other partner now maybe loses a job, so can you still afford it? And on top of that, does this deal wash its own face that even if we qualify to buy it on one salary, but it will further grow us because it's washing its own face? Do we understand the numbers? Woo-wee. Oh, Lord. You know what I see? I help out lots of people. And in my helping out, yeah, I just see like when it comes to numbers, um, sometimes we trust the sellers. People are selling stuff to us. I'm like, hey, this is an investment. Like all these developments that come up, it's an investment. It's an investment. And you all run there and you buy. And I'm like, have you done the numbers? Just do the numbers on a napkin. You're at Nando's. Just ask for the napkin at Nando's and ask them. You're buying the property for R1 million. The interest rate, the interest roundabout, let's just call it 10.5. That's your repayment. How much can you get rent in that area? Ah, okay, 10,000. Okay, sharp. So 10,000 minus 10,500, because you're going to pay 10,500 for your bond, you're already on a loss. I have not even included rates and taxes, levies, but you still go and buy those properties. What the hell? My name is TJ. I'm trying to help. Let's go to the next question. Are we buying for cash flow, for growth, or are we buying for learning purposes? One of my boys, his name is Grant. He's been here. We've featured him quite a bit. And Grant basically, he did a flip at one point and he was comfortable at breaking even because the deal that he jumped into, it taught him a lot in practice. He came to the tribe, he learned for about a year, 2 years, grinding and things like that, but doing it gave him more learning. So are you buying for learning? Right? The value that you get is priceless. Or the last question is, are we both comfortable with the timeline of this deal? Right? So I'm going to land the plane by saying that if one partner is uneasy, pause, but don't stop. Pause for clarity. So get clarity. Once you have clarity, whoop, move along. Does that make sense? I'm just here to help. It is ITJ, right? Here is a principle I have lived by. Faith is not reckless. Faith is in informed obedience. God doesn't ask us to gamble. I'm still learning within this faith thing, right? So God doesn't ask us to gamble. He asks us to steward. I've been reading about the cool brother called Joseph. And to me, he is the pinnacle of stewardship. Like the pinnacle. He is like the pinnacle of service, right? Read about him, right? Stewardship in marriage looks like the next 3 points. It looks like listening to the next person. I've been pointed at and I'm like, you're not listening to me? I'm like, I'm listening. What did I say? You said what you said. And then I go and I have a conversation with Tarai and like, Tarai, TJ, are you listening? You need to listen more to your wife. Okay, I come back. Are you listening? Yes, ma'am, I'm listening, right? And she says, what was I saying? I said, yes, you said the ABCD. High five. I give myself and write in my journal today. I was listening attentively to my wife when she's working. So stewardship in marriage, it looks like listening, planning, the second one, and unity is the third one. Unity, unit. I can't stress that one enough. So not rushing ahead alone. It is pointless. You just Deals will always come and go. But if you break the relationship, rebuilding it takes much longer for you to be able to do many deals. So let me leave you with this strong thought. And The win is not the deal. Deals always come, my friends. The win is becoming the kind of couple who can handle bigger deals. So you're starting where you are starting right now, and the win is becoming, I'm going to say that word again. The win is becoming. My wife and I, we are continuously becoming. I'm going to share with you. We became a couple that went the hurdle of 5 million in debt. We became a couple that was both authors. My wife has got a book. I've got a couple of books. We became um, investors. We became parents. We became homeowners. We became uh, no owners at all. We own nothing in our names. We became um, owning a business in one town. We became owners of businesses in multiple towns. We became the banks didn't want to talk to us. We became the bank wants to giving us millions. We're becoming. Do you see that? We're becoming something. So what are you becoming? I'm of the view that real estate, it has the ability to grow you. So property grows as you grow. I'm gonna repeat that again, right? Property grows as you grow. If you don't grow, not you as a person, you as a couple, if you don't grow, you don't grow. Your business doesn't grow. That's the simple part of it. So the couples who last in this game are not the bravest. They are not uh, those that we read about on social media. No, no. They are the most aligned ones. They come home, they talk in the night, they set time once a month to speak about what's happening in their businesses, what's happening in the workplace. They are aligned with shared goals. Now, my good friends, if this video in particular has helped you to think differently as a couple, I want to say to you that you are way ahead. Like you are ahead of most people. Because wealth grows where learning is shared, risk is discussed, and decisions are made together. I will see you at the next video, my good friends. And before I leave, I want to leave you with this one liner which says to me, and now I'm saying it to you: property real estate rewards couples who learn faster than their fear. Did you get that? I'm going to say that again. Real estate, business, property rewards couples who learn faster than their fear. Boom! It is I, your boy, TJ. We'll check you out right here on the TJ Tribe on the next video.